Morning, Riley. Here are the words for chapter 2. I will email you the quiz. Actually, email it to your mother. So we have seductive, what are you doing?
Zooming in.
Provocative, flouted, dinned, surly, sullen, ardor, felicitating, lithe, wags, convulsed, tyrannical, vociferous, exultant, bravado, and stolid. Those are your words. They're due Tuesday. So your vocab words are due Tuesday. No, they're due Monday, and we'll quiz Tuesday on them. Okay.
Are we gonna get them back so we can study them?
You don't think you'll get them all right?
Well, some of them we have the definitions, but they're not the definitions that you.
Okay, so definitions. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I really wanted to talk about that. Definitions are not just the dictionary definition, because sometimes in the dictionary there'll be 2 or 3 definitions for a word. You need to pick the one that fits the setting in the book. So you need to know, for instance, a picket. A picket is a pointed board used to make a fence, but it also is a soldier at his post. So it has 2 different meanings. And obviously, in the context of which it was written, it was referring to the latter, not the former. So make sure you're making mental note as you're going along when you do your words that you're answering, that you're writing down the definition that coincides with the context in the story. Make sense? Okay.
We have to vocab due Thursday.
Thursday, and then return to you Monday for a quiz.
Tuesday.
Sure, we can do that. Anybody opposed to that? Okay, vocab words are due. So Riley, I need your vocab words by Thursday.
If we were to get them done tonight, would we be able to get them graded tomorrow?
Possibly. I can't guarantee it, but I'll sure give it a shot. All right? And then, so homework, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you, tomorrow I'll give you the next section, which starts chapter 4. So you won't have to worry about that until probably Monday, but we'll see. So thus far, so Monday, we'll talk about Monday as we get closer. Well, let's just see how we progress. I'll get your quizzes graded before I leave today, and I'll have them back to you tomorrow, okay? And I just need to get your grades recorded. I got yours, Riley. They came out perfect. The screenshots worked. There was no problem. All right. We're at the start of chapter 3. Any questions before we go any further? Okay, so let's start a list for chapter 3 vocab words, because the author uses a lot of words that are not common. He has a large vocabulary, very large vocabulary. But I've noticed, I know I'm out of the purview of the camera, but I have noticed that in my family, my children have large vocabularies for their level of education. I'm surprised, but sometimes they use words that I didn't know they knew. So I think it's your environment that helps that a great deal, where you learn to use words and learn new words on a regular basis. It just helps your vocabulary. So let's begin at When Another Night. And whose turn? Amber, have you read yet? Oh, well, what a pleasant surprise you get to read today. That was wonderful.
What?
I'm just waiting for you to begin.
Okay. When another night came, the columns changed to purple streaks, filled across two pontoon bridges.
Filled?
Filed across two pontoon bridges.
What's a pontoon bridge? Anybody know?
Isn't it one of those like little floating bridge things that goes over water?
I'm not gonna make you look up that word. It's not that. It's a floating bridge. Built on a pontoon. Pontoon is something inflated with air. So that it floats.
A glaring fire whined tinted the waters of the river. Its rays, shining upon the moving masses of troops, brought forth here and there sudden gleams of silver or gold. Upon the other shore, a dark and mysterious range of hills was curved against the sky. The insect voices of the night sang solemnly.
Isn't that an interesting word? The insect voices of the night sang solemnly. When do we sing solemnly?
Funeral.
Yeah, funerals usually. So there's the language in here is very suggestive as we go along. Also, note one thing. What are they getting glints of in the night because of the light?
Their arms.
But no. Glints of what? See, guys?
Rather than gleams of silver and gold.
Gleams, oh, I'm sorry, I said gleams, gleams of silver and gold. After this, okay, so silver and gold refers to officers. They wore their rank and other things on their uniforms were silver and gold, right? After this, and after World War II especially, all insignias then started to be done in dull colors so that they wouldn't shine bright in the sunlight or in the moonlight because they didn't want the enemy picking off the officers. It's kind of a dumb thing to go into battle flouting the fact that you're a general. You understand what I mean? Because you become a really good target at that point. So now, it's even now that soldiers actually wear a camo patch over their rank, and they will unzip it to show their rank if necessary, or they'll wear it under their collar. So nothing shines anymore. It's all camo. It's all dulled down. It's so that you blend into the environment. You don't want to stand out from the environment when you're in battle because that makes you a target. All right, keep going.
After this crossing, the youth assured himself that at any moment they might be suddenly and fearfully assaulted from the caves of the lowering woods. He kept his eyes watchfully upon the darkness.
There's the two things. He feared and he did. He kept his eyes watchfully upon the darkness.
But his regiment went unmolested to a camping place, and its soldiers slept the brave sleep of wearied men. In the morning they were routed out with early energy and hustled along a narrow road that led deep into the forest.
What's unmolested?
Untouched.
Okay, very good.
It was during this rapid march that the regiment lost many of the marks of a new command. The men had begun to count the miles upon their fingers, and they grew tired. Sore feet and damn short rations, that's all, said the loud soldier. There was perspiration and grumblings. After a time they began to shed their knapsacks. Some tossed them unconcernedly down, others hid them carefully, asserting their plans to return for them at some convenient time. Men.
Oh, there's a good word. Extricated. I wonder what that means.
They took stuff off.
Extricated.
Is that right?
Separated. Throw off.
What?
To throw off.
Did you have to look it up?
I did.
I didn't, and I recited, ooh,
Wah, wah. You know what I've noticed in reading is that you guys you don't even hesitate when we come to a cuss word. You do them very well.
It's them girls. Yeah, pretty bad.
Have you noticed that too? Does anybody else notice that? Where there's just no hesitation, just bang, it's out there, baby. It's like, I've been practicing this all my life.
Well, I mean, he was dropping F-bombs. I think we'd hesitate maybe a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, yes, good point. Yeah, there aren't, well, he doesn't use those. Came from a Christian home, remember? Presently. Presently.
Okay. Presently, few carried anything but their necessary clothing, blankets, haversacks, canteens, and arms and ammunition. You can now eat and shoot, said the tall soldier to the youth. That's all you want to do.
What's a haversack?
It's
Right
like,
now, so your backpack.
yeah.
It's like in backpack?
Yeah, backpack, knapsack.
What's it? Why is there a haversack and a knapsack?
When that haversack smaller than the outside.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so what's the difference between a knapsack and a haversack? That'd be a good definitions to know. Okay, go on. That's all you want to do. Now all you can do is eat and shoot, and it doesn't sound like they get a lot to eat, right? So mostly shoot. All right.
There was sudden change from the ponderous infantry of theory to the light and speedy infantry of practice. The regiment, relieved of a burden, received a new impetus.
I bet you don't know what that word means, do you?
Probably looked it up.
A new leader.
Huh?
A new leader.
Nope.
Yeah.
But there was much loss of valuable knapsacks and, the whole, very good shirts. But the regiment was not yet veteran-like in appearance. Veteran regiments in the army were likely to be very small aggregations of men. Once, when the command had first come to the field, some perambulating veterans,
Bet
noting
you
the
don't know
length
what
of
that word means, son, perambulating. I didn't. Okay, you're doing good so far, Amber. Keep up the good work.
noting the length of their column, had accosted them thus, "Hey fellers, what brigade is that?" And when the men had replied that they formed a regiment, not a brigade, the older soldier laughed and said, "Oh God." Also there was too great a similarity in the hats. The hats of a regiment should properly represent the history of headgear for a period of years. And moreover, there were no letters of faded gold speaking from the colors. They were new and beautiful, and the color bearer habitually oiled the pole.
What's the colors? Colors? Hmm? What?
Isn't it like,
He's talking about the colors and a
What's
pole is
colors?
Talking about a flag.
yeah, the flag.
What? Colors. What's colors? Red, black? No, black's not a color. Red, yellow, green, is that what it's talking about? Okay. Colors? Do you know, Amanda, what colors are? Do you know?
Trying to say what Raquel said, flag.
Since
Flag.
just a sentence, or just a little bit farther down, it talks about we need the pole.
Yep. Oiling it. Yeah.
Probably a flag.
Colors. That's the colors. So what's the difference between the north and the south in terms of colors?
Wait, just kidding.
Just kidding.
I just saw colors and I was like, well, one's blue, one's red.
Yeah, that's their
flag-wise,
uniform.
I don't know.
Confederate.
Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
Confederate flag look like? Have you ever seen a pickup?
Oh,
The
it's,
rebel
yeah, it's,
flag.
yeah.
What?
The rebel flag.
Yeah, yeah. The Confederate flag is the rebel flag. What are the northern troops? What are they carrying?
This one right here.
What is it? Red, white, and blue. The American flag, right? So when they go into battle, they carry different colors. Not only do the uniforms look different, but they carry different colors, different flags to identify them. And keeping the colors up, not down, up, is a sign of winning, not losing. And we're going to get into a sentence here pretty soon that has an interesting phraseology. And I've told you to watch this guy because he is a master of phraseology. What we call a wordsmith. He can make a simple phrase turn into a world of meaning. And not, we just run right past it, not even recognizing it. So I will do my best to bring those out for you as we go along so that you're getting the breadth of what this man is writing. He's an excellent writer. Okay, so here's one question that I know you knew the material, but most of you tended to rush over it, and I gave you credit for it because it wasn't a big deal. But first of all, the regiment's huge. It looks like a brigade. That's made up of several regiments, a brigade is. So 3 or 4 regiments makes a brigade. So these veterans are going, hey, you don't look like you're battle worn at all. Number one, you're huge compared to us. You haven't had many casualties, or if any. Your hats all look the same. You don't look, your shirts haven't been stained by sweat and dirt and smoke and blood. You're not dirty. You're still shiny in places. You still have silver and gold shiny spots on you. Have you ever heard the story of the Velveteen Rabbit? And when you're loved, your hair's worn off and all that stuff. When you've been to war, it looks like it. You look like you've been through hell and barely made it out alive. That's what you look like. It looks like you went right through the fires of hell. And generally, small size. Small size. Biggest battle I was ever in, we came out 45% strength of what we went in. So that means we lost 55% of the men. They were either wounded or killed. That's when it shows. When you look dirty. You're starving, you're skinny, you're exhausted. And there's about half of you, if at best. So you get the idea? So these veterans are going by and going, they look like they just came out of boot camp. All right, keep reading, Amber. You're doing a great job.
Presently, the army again sat down to think. The odor of the peaceful pines was in the men's nostrils. The sound of monotonous axe blows rang through the forest, and the insects, nodding upon their perches, crooned like old women. The youth returned to his theory of a blue demonstration.
Isn't that beautifully written? Have you ever been in a real pine forest and just taken in the scent? Pine has a gorgeous odor to it. And then here, the monotonous, he calls it, axe chopping down a tree. Thud, 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 or crack, or thwack. Those sounds of an axe hitting a tree and cutting it down, because they didn't have chainsaws. And so because chainsaws weren't filling the air with all of this sound of engine and gas burning and combustion, it was just a simple thwack of an axe. And so the insects, you can hear them, and the birds. And so here's what do we call this in writing? What literary term is this little paragraph?
Imagery.
What?
Analogy.
Imagery.
It is imagery. It's excellent imagery. No, it's not an illusion. Illusion is what?
Yeah, it's it has like, simile, like.
Wait, what are you asking? What is an illusion? Is that what you said?
Yeah, for him.
Oh.
You're welcome.
I was like, is that a question that was?
No,
Confused
that's
me for a
not,
second.
that was for him. What is this paragraph doing in this story?
And
Painting picture?
It's setting up the scene.
new chemistry.
Okay, we have two kinds of relief. Comic relief is when there's humor. Relief is when the tension is just taken off. This is relief. Tension is building, and all of a sudden, what's he doing? He just sitting there taking in nature. And then he refers back to something that has a theme in this story. The blue demonstration. He just thinks, okay, we're just back to the good old blue demonstration. That's all we are. Why? Oops. What does he mean by this? Blue demonstration, what does that mean? Anybody been working on this one? You do?
Working on it.
You do? What do you got, girl?
The perception that at this point the regiment is preparing for a protest rather than for a battle.
Very good. Excellent. Good job. Did you hear that? Read it louder.
The perception that at this point the regiment is preparing for a protest rather than for a battle.
They're just protesting the war. They're not actually engaged in it. Why would he say that? Why do you think